Alright, we are finished with implementing basic player movement. Right now, our player object can move on across the X and Z axis, and it can also jump. But with these upgrades, our obstacles don't really do much now. We can either walk across them, or if we can't, we can just jump over them. I want to make the obstacles actually harder to avoid and an actual challenge. So to do that, I want to make it so our obstacles can move on their own. Here's the basic idea. What we want to do is make our objects or obstacles move from one end of the platform to the other. A basic loop that consists of getting to this spot, changing directions, getting to this spot, and then changing directions again. These two lines that we are gonna add to our scene. What the fuck is that? Alright, I'm back. As I was saying, these two lines are gonna be called triggers. And once our obstacle hits one of these triggers, it's gonna run an event. Once our obstacle hits one of these triggers, it's gonna create an event. Before everything else, I want to reorganize my objects and reposition them. I will be back. Alright, now after a little bit of resigning, we have a big wall of obstacles here. We can't move around them, so all we need to do is jump over them. Now let's work on creating the two triggers on the two ends of our map. Now we need to make the two triggers invisible, because after all we don't want the player to see the two triggers. To do this, we need to play with a specific component. The mesh renderer. All we need to do is disable these objects' mesh renderers. Although our two triggers are invisible now, they still exist in the scene, as you can see in the hierarchy. Now we need to specify that these two triggers are, well, triggers. Triggers are different than objects that we can collide with. Triggers don't respond to physical collisions, but we can still detect when other objects pass through the triggers. To turn these objects into triggers, all we need to do is go to their box colliders and then tick is trigger. Let's do the same with the other one. Okay, I don't think I'm missing anything, so right now we'll switch to coding. We need to create a second script. We already have one script for the player, but now we need one for the obstacles. The script will have the following logic. Our obstacles will start with a predefined direction, then they will move towards a trigger, and then switch directions when they touch the trigger. And then it will be the same for the other trigger as well. For this, we won't use OnTriggerEnter like we did in the player script, but instead we'll use a different method called OnTriggerEnter. Let's create our script and then call it obstacle behavior. Did I spell that right? No. Let's head to Visual Studio. Now, in our IDE, we need a bool variable named isObstacle going left. Now, in our update methods, we'll create an if statement. It will have the following logic. If isObstacle going left is true, then our obstacle will go left. If it's false, then it will go right. So let's create the statement right now. If our bool variable is true, then we want to make our obstacle go left. So we will need to use the translate method. We'll write the following. Transform, translate, then vector3 left, and then finally time delta time. Let's test this out to see if our obstacles are gonna go left. Going back to our Unity editor, let's assign our script to our obstacle. We don't need to assign it one by one because our obstacle is a prefab. All of these obstacles are a copy of this prefab. So if we add a script to this prefab, all of these obstacles are also gonna have a script. Going to the prefabs inspector window, let's click add components, and then there it is, obstacle behavior. And there it is. You can see in our hierarchy that right now all the obstacles in our scene have the obstacle behavior script. Let's test it now. And okay, it's working. But right now our obstacles are going very slow. We'll need to fix that. To do that, let's add a speed variable to our script. For example, private float and then speed. Let's make it, I don't know, 3. Then we need to change this. Now let's test again. As you can see, our obstacles are moving much faster now. But our script is not finished. We also need our obstacles to hit the triggers and then switch directions. So to do that, we need to create our method. Let's do void OnTriggerEnter. We need to make it so with each run of this method, our bool variable is reversed. If it's true, then it becomes false. If it's false, then it becomes true. To do that, all we need to do is write is obstacle going left equal to is obstacle going left. Adding an exclamation mark right here switches or reverses the bool variable. So what we are saying here is obstacle going left equals to the reverse of what the variable is, the opposite. Now let's do our code with the right direction. Save it and let's test it. I hope this works. Here it goes. So our obstacles are going left right now. They are heading to the trigger. And if they touch the trigger, and there it is, they switch directions. And now they are gonna do the opposite. They are gonna go to this trigger and then switch directions again. Right? Yeah, there it is.